Hi everyone. So thanks for accessing this recap workshop session on getting into an industry without relevant experience. So this is a recap of this workshop, which was run during the graduate masterclass week of the 6th of June. And this is not a full recording of the session, but rather a smaller 5 to 7 minute, much more digestible version where we'll really be talking about the key themes and insights that we wanted to convey to you and for you to take away and consume if you are either looking for a reminder or weren't able to attend that session. So this session will cover how to demonstrate motivations for certain industries, particularly within the absence of experience. I'm going to keep coming onto that. It's how we demonstrate these things without necessarily having that relevant experience. So how do we demonstrate a motivation for a certain role or career path if we don't have that insight week or placement year within that industry or at all? And looking at networking and informational interviewing, research, as well as self-upskilling in certain areas. We'll also talk about what you can do now to find work-related learning experiences and how you can illustrate the transferability of your skills. So what can relevant experience consist of? Well, internships and placements are the most obvious, but it can also include volunteering or community work, part-time paid work, insight days and meeting a company, projects and certifications. And I think with this session, we're really looking at how we can still break out into industries without those internships or more formal work-related learning experiences. So one thing that's important in terms of acquiring experiences is it allows us to demonstrate our motivations. When we are asked motivational questions, be it in the interview or even earlier in the application form, where we may see questions like, tell us what do you know about us, why company name, why this role, etc. Or questions as ambiguous as, tell us why you're here today. Typically, we want to address these with having a clear career narrative. If you're more, we're not going to go into too much of that today. If you're interested in that, I recommend the interview skills workshop session. But in order to have that clear career narrative, this is where we weave in experiences that have either allowed us to reaffirm why we're looking to enter a particular industry. So if we have relevant internships or placements, we can weave that into our clear narrative to say, hey, here's the type of thing I've done that's led me to being interested in this type of position. And that might allow you to demonstrate your interest in the role as well as their company. But that's not useful for us today, right? We're looking at how we can do that in the absence of these things. We typically do this through work experience, and that allows us to reinforce your passion for a degree and or related industry by showcasing your motivation to gain further insight outside of the curriculum, or particularly if you don't have a degree aligned, if your degree isn't aligned to that industry you're going into, it allows you to showcase your passion for that role. And this is how it may look like if you have that degree, if you have that relevant experience. So for this student, mechanical engineering graduate, looked like they were able to do various internships, these being shorter insight weeks in their first year. That experience clearly then put them off banking, and that was then something they're able to maybe speak about when pursuing a position in consulting, to say, actually having experienced different sectors, I now know that I'm more interested and leaning towards consulting, and that summer internship would have confirmed this and led on to a full-time role with that organization. But again, that's not what we may potentially have. So what can we do in the absence of that? So how can we find work-related experiences? So for many of you, particularly as you are maybe looking at entering the job market in the coming months, in the coming weeks, as you're now completing your studies, there's still a lot you can do. So this can be through a combination of online platforms. So imagine you're now trying to break into social media or social media marketing. These are kind of resources that are available on LinkedIn Learning. That coupled with a virtual internship, this one being hosted on Farage, which is 2 to 2.5 hours. Already, we can see that if we don't have those type of experiences, just by undertaking a few relevant online short courses, again, LinkedIn Learning's free for all Queen Mary's current students, as well as an online virtual internship, we're already getting that content, we're already boosting that those relevant experiences on your CV, and we're one step closer to being able to kind of showcase your interest in a particular industry, certainly than we were before embarking on such courses and programs. Similarly, this is something we can apply to different industries. Imagine now you're deciding to get into financial services, tax, accounting, audit. Let's find some relevant online courses coupled with an online virtual internship that's self-paced, that you can do in your own time. And already our CV is starting to be in a much stronger position than it was without these experiences, and if we didn't have relevant internships and insight days. And virtual internships are now a lot more common and accepted by employers. That's something that, due to the pandemic, a lot of a lot of employers switched to, and a lot of organizations such as Bright Networks were offering, because many employers couldn't run their internships. So this is the Farage. They've got such a range of fantastic different experiences across different industries and career sectors. So whatever you're interested in, take a look if there's a virtual internship, and already we're starting to address that lack of experience piece. If you are accessing this within time, I would strongly recommend the Bright Network internship if you're interested in any of the following sectors. So you'll have kind of within a week to apply, depending on when you access this. And when it comes to internships, don't think that these are just summer internships that you need to have applied to last year. There's many current live internships, so do check in LinkedIn and the Careers Hub. Also, let's start to look at LinkedIn as a way of networking with individuals. So imagine you're a finalist studying mechanical engineering, but you want to apply for sales and marketing commercial graduate programs. Already there's 3 individual types of profiles that you may reach out to. Finding individuals already on that program, better yet, finding individuals who are on similar degree programs that have gone into the same career as you, and reaching out and having conversations with them. So I strongly recommend the alumni tool on LinkedIn, where you can search by year of graduation, where you can search by degree and career sector, or by company name, and with that, then you can find individuals to reach out to. Similarly, we have QM Network for that. And what's great about QM Network is that this is where alumni have opted into being reached out to and want to give you support with job application advice, careers related advice, CV reviewing, e-mentoring. So it's definitely worth you reaching out and to see if there's any alumni that are in either roles or industries that appeal to you, and then starting to learn about having informational interviews with them. Informational interviews are a bit different because they're not job interviews. It's specifically a chance for you to find out more about that role and about that company. And then let's think about those things, right, that we've just discussed already. Then when it comes to addressing motivational questions, we've got more content that we can build into. Tell me what you know about us, why you're interested in this role. So now you're able to demonstrate that by saying how your experiences on this virtual internship or completing these type of online qualifications or short courses reaffirm that interest, and it shows your proactivity and self-motivation in wanting to break into this industry. Similarly, having conversations with individuals when it comes to why do you want to work for us, if you can say, well, I've spoken to so and so who is a former alumni who now also works in the team, and they told me X, Y, and Z about your company. That type of proactive networking and research, i.e. research that's not available via the company page on their website, is really looked upon highly by recruiters, by interviewers. So already we can see how those type of experiences can feed into your career narrative and help you address and answer not only why that role, but why that role at that particular company. And of course, there's Queen Mary's events as well. And then, of course, They're skills you have already developed at Queen Mary. So when it comes to addressing the job description, the person specification, really just look at what they're looking for. This is typically listed in the person specification. Here they're looking for someone who's proactive with great attention to detail. So already we think, okay, how do I demonstrate my proactivity and attention to detail? Similarly, here they're looking for individuals who are strong decision makers, can demonstrate their enthusiasm, planning and organizational skills. So I won't labor through these. I want you to think about kind of non-work related examples and experiences that you have and how these can demonstrate these. For example, a position of responsibility can demonstrate ambition. So for example, if you're on an executive committee of a society, you are ambitious not to be a member of the society, but want to shape the direction of that society going forward. Project work can demonstrate collaboration. Part-time work can demonstrate prioritization and time management, particularly if it was done alongside a degree. Hobbies and interests are a great way of demonstrating self-motivation, being goal-oriented, and if that hobby or interest or side hustle is related to your industry, a way of demonstrating passion. So start to think of, I've just put it in a bit of a neater format here. So start to think about yourself holistically and the transferable skill set of your experiences. So of course, if you want further support, feel free, and or if you've started to acquire those experiences and want help articulating that career narrative, then of course book in appointments with us. So at that point, I'm going to stop recording, but this was just a short recap of the session with us having stripped a lot out just to make it much more digestible and what's closer to a 10 to 12 minute recap. Thank you very much.